Well, good day everybody, and welcome to my channel Whiskey Journey. Today I've got something a little bit different for you guys, so I'm going to be doing a first impressions video. As you can see, I've got the new Kilkerran 8-year-old sherry cask matured, and I'll be doing a comparison between this one right here, which was released last year, also a Kilkerran 8-year-old, and bottled on the 24th of January 23. And I think moving forward for my channel, when I get new bottles like this one, what I'll do is give you a first impression of what I think of the dram itself, and I'll let it breathe for a month or so, and then I'll do a proper review. I think it's a little bit unfair to judge a whiskey based on a first tasting. So as I said, moving forward, I'll be doing, if it's a new bottle, I'll give you my impressions, and then later on, a month down the line, I'll do an actual proper review of it. Okay. So anyway, yeah, very happy that the Kilkerran 8-year-old has finally arrived, and as usual guys, I'll just go straight into the tasting notes. I'm not going to give you too much information. Most of you guys already know what we've got right here. So what I'll do is I'll do a tasting of the batch from last year first. Okay, these drams have been resting now for about 20 minutes or so. I haven't added water yet, and this video might be a little bit longer because I will be adding some water just to see if any of the profile changes. Okay, so on the nose with the batch from last year. Beautiful cherry, big cherry note. There's honey, raisins, get a little bit of that mineral character as well. Yeah, some chalkiness, pebbles. A little bit of that sort of typical Campbelltown funk, a slight farminess to it as well. But for me, comes across as quite clean. The sherry notes definitely. There's some plums as well. A little bit of tobacco, sweet tobacco actually, reminds me of pipe tobacco almost. Definitely a sweet profile, but definitely enough of that Campbelltown DNA there. The sherry for me does not drown out the spirit completely, but definitely sherry forward. Just a beautiful nose, and as I said, this bottle has been open now for I think nearly a year, so it's obviously had time to settle down. And again, that's probably a little bit of an unfair comparison because this one hasn't, but I just wanted to give you my thoughts on it first. So beautiful nose on last year's batch. Okay, so let's get straight onto the nose of the latest batch, shall we? And see what we get. Color-wise, they seem to be very similar. So let's just see what we get on the nose with this one then. So there is some sherry there, sherry character. I'm getting the cherries that I got from the previous batch, but for me, this one is not quite as sherry forward as the previous batch or last year's batch. Still getting raisins, definitely raisinated fruits. Getting some earth as well. Hints of that sort of that Campbelltown funk. A little bit of peat as well. That earthy note is lovely though, beautiful. So yeah, definitely to me personally, not a sherried. Doesn't come across as sherried as this one, but this one's still very well balanced with the Campbelltown notes as well, in my opinion. Yeah, so very different. In my opinion. Let me just nose this one again quickly. Yeah, the sherry notes definitely pop out a bit more, definitely on this one, but it still has the Campbelltown DNA, so you're still getting notes of funk, minerals and earth. Yeah. Okay, so let's just have a wee taste of the batch from last year, then, shall we, and see what we get. Some minerals in there and some peat. Definitely some peat smoke. Beautiful on the tongue, as on the palate as well. Almost like a tingling sensation. Almost like fizziness. So that's just lovely, guys. So beautiful arrival. Very oily, creamy almost. Thick. Greeted with all that sherry character, some raisinated fruits, some dried fruit character, a bit of chocolate, a bit of coffee as well, definitely, which leads into the sort of mid palate and almost like a sweet sort of savory element to this, maybe a bit of sharpness as well, some berries, and then leading into the finish, definitely some mineral character, some chalkiness and pebbles, and a trail of peat in the background. Very nicely balanced with the sherry. Again, I don't feel that the sherry character overtakes the spirit or anything like that. Very well balanced. Just beautiful. Really, really enjoyable on that one. Okay. So I'm just going to have a wee bit of water quick, and then we will go on to the tasting of this year's batch. Right, okay. Okay, right, let's just get, sorry guys, I got a bit distracted, they're just nosing it again. Right, let's just get straight onto the palate on this one then, shall we? Still getting quite a bit of minerals on the end with some peat. So the initial arrival, much like last year's, quite creamy, quite oily, but definitely, for me personally, definitely less of the sherry influence. There's some dark chocolate there, getting some raisinated fruits. Some red fruits, definitely, some sharpness as well from those red fruits. And it kind of leads into the mid palate. A little bit of malt, a little bit of honey, and then there's a little bit of bitterness there, a little bit of tannin, slight bitter edge. Still quite sweet. I don't think it's quite as sweet as last year's. Definitely feels more savoury, in my opinion. Alcohol integration for me. This one, I mean, what is it, 57.5% ABV. I mean, it just slides down on your palate, and for me there's no real sting or anything like that. It just goes down very, very well, perfectly integrated. However, it could be because this has been sitting for a year and it's just settled, basically. This one, for me, a little bit more aggressive. I can feel the ABV a bit more, but again, guys, this is first impression. This one will definitely need time in the bottle, in my opinion, and this is why I didn't want to review it straight away. I wanted to give you my impressions, and then a month or two down the line, I will review this properly. Okay, so there's some metallic, almost industrial notes there in the background, so there's definitely quite a bit of Campbelltown DNA, so I definitely get the industrial notes on this one, along with the minerals and the peat. Not heavy peat, just a trail of peat. Okay, right, so let's just add a bit of water to this one from last year, and I'm going to add a little bit of water to the batch from this year. Again, I'm not adding much, guys. I don't want to destroy anything. Just a little bit of water for me is enough just to be able to see any differences and taste any differences. So last year's batch with a bit of water. Let's see what we get. Cherries, loads and loads of cherries and syrup. Definitely brought out more minerals just with a bit of water. That Campbelltown edge brought out a bit more funk as well. Raisins, syrup, honey, some malt, a bit of smoke and peat. Yeah, just stunning on the nose. Right, let's just have a taste. I do love that finish. Dark chocolate, cherry, peat, minerals, some smoke. Again, the arrival is really good. Maybe not quite as oily at its full like it is at its full strength, but beautiful flavors. As I said to you, for me the alcohol integration is spot on with this, and I think the time that it's had in the bottle has definitely contributed to it tasting, I wouldn't say smooth, but just very well balanced. A little bit of oak, but doesn't come across as bitter, in my opinion. There's a bit of dark chocolate there, but for me, minimal bitterness, lots of sweetness, but lots of that Campbelltown DNA as well. So excellent overall. Okay, 2024 with a bit of water. Oh, I better have another sip. Apologies, this is a bit longer, guys, but I want to give this spirit the justice it deserves. You know, not justice, but I want to give it the time it deserves. Right, so a bit more peat coming out now, and a bit of smoke with a few drops of water. I think there's a little bit of dirtiness there too. Yeah, there's definitely some funk. But as I said before, the sherry cask definitely not as prominent on the nose. Definitely the Kilkerran spirit is, for me, coming out a bit more. Still getting cherries and dried fruits and some molasses as well. Right, let's just get straight into the taste, guys. I know this is a long video. peat and smoke definitely more in the finish. Minerals up front, still creamy, still oily. Again, I think the addition of water hasn't really benefited it when it comes to the viscosity and the mouthfeel. I think mouthfeel is better. I think both these drams taste, for me, better mouthfeel without water. Definitely raisins. I mean, all the classic sherry notes, but definitely toned down, in my opinion, compared to last year's batch. Definitely doesn't feel as sherry driven as this one. Okay. Yeah, so what are my thoughts so far? Well, I mean, for me, I definitely prefer last year's batch, but as I've said to you already, guys, this has been sitting for a year, so it's not really fair to properly give you my thoughts in the sense that, as I said, this one is just, for me, better because it's been in the bottle longer, and it's obviously had time for those flavors to develop in the bottle. This one, I think, very impressive on first tasting, but I think it will need time in the bottle. I would give this at least a month, probably longer, probably 2 months actually, just for it to settle down a bit. As I said, I think the alcohol integration is not, I don't think, I mean, there's a bit of heat there, and I don't think the alcohol integration is as good as it is in last year's bottle so far. Okay, but I mean, you can't really go wrong, because this is what, 60 quid if you manage to get a bottle, and 60 quid for an 8-year-old, cost, strength, non-chill filtered, natural color, all the good things. And availability wise, I'll be honest, guys, I know that these sell out quick, but I've seen this in loads of stores online in the UK. Sure, you have to act quick, and you need to get there quick and purchase it quickly, otherwise it will disappear. But definitely more availability, in my opinion, for this year's release than last year, in my opinion. Okay, so overall, I mean, it's an excellent dram, guys. Well worth your time, well worth the money, but it's going to need time to settle down. And as I said, this is why I didn't want to do a review. I wanted to just do an impressions video first. We'll let this sit for a month or two, okay, and then I'll give you a proper review once I've given it time in the bottle, and we'll do another comparison maybe. Okay. Right, guys, so I appreciate you staying with me here. As usual, thanks for watching, and if you enjoy my content, guys, then please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. It's always appreciated. But as usual, folks, there's not much else to say except have a fantastic day, and I'll see all of you again soon. Take care. Cheers.